Wrath, Irony, and Hope. A reflection for the 24th Sunday in Ordinary Time. Absence makes the heart grow fonder, or so I heard in childhood. In the intervening years, I have logged enough experience to realize that this adage needs a qualifier. Example, sometimes, or at least a minor edit. Can make in place of makes. Yes, absence can increase our longing for one with whom we have formed an attachment, but the quality of our connection and the means we employ to maintain it matter. Out of sight, out of mind also rings true at times. In today's first reading, we overhear a pivotal conversation. Moses, on the holy mountain with the Lord for 40 days, hears some bad news. Go down at once to your people, whom you have brought out of the land of Egypt, for they have become depraved. Notice the pronoun you and its possessive form your. The Lord has, for the moment, disowned the rebellious people, handing them over to Moses. There is a certain logic to this, since according to the verses that precede today's passage in the Bible, Moses' long absence has brought about their anxious and ultimately sinful behavior. We can imagine hapless Aaron left behind to manage the stiff-necked Israelites getting backed into a corner and caving in to their wishes, melting their gold and carving the calf. Hearing the Lord's words, "Let me alone then, that my wrath may blaze up against them to consume them," Moses steps up to talk the Lord out of extreme action. In negotiating for pardon, Moses appeals to memory. Why, O Lord, should your wrath blaze up against your own people, whom you brought out of the land of Egypt with such great power and so strong a hand? Notice how Moses turns the pronouns back God's way, reminding the Lord of his responsibility for Israel. In the next verse, Exodus 32:12, missing from today's reading, Moses reminds the Lord that his reputation is at stake, since the Egyptians will surely use the people's destruction at God's hand to rewrite the embarrassing story of Israel's escape from captivity in Egypt. Finally, Moses gets personal, invoking the names of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, God's friends of old, and repeating back to the Lord his own promise to them. In the face of this threefold argument, the Lord relents. Our Sunday reading ends in this happy place. The biblical story, however, presses on toward a bitter twist of irony. After averting the wholesale destruction of Israel at the hand of her Maker, Moses descends from the mountain and promptly loses his temper. He smashes the tablets, rebukes his brother Aaron for his part in the fiasco, and orders the faithful of Israel to raise the sword against the unfaithful, regardless of friendship or kinship. In this, another adage comes into play: the guilty get what they deserve. Not so in today's gospel. Jesus shows us a father on the lookout for a wayward son, who welcomes him with open arms before the boy can stammer out an apology for his reckless behavior. St. Paul, too, extols God's mercy in calling the enemy-turned-apostle out of ignorance, arrogance, and evil actions into ministry in the service of Christ. Both these New Testament passages reflect the corrective announced by Jesus in word and action, the recasting of a false God image from wrathful avenger to loving, healing, forgiving Redeemer.